Hello, 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 and welcome. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And welcome to the very first episode of Gray Hair Can Do. Now, you're going to notice this arm right here, which is not my newest accessory, but which is my absolutely amazing.
There you go. So
Okay,
no.
yes. Okay, so it's been live. Okay, I
You
don't
just started.
understand.
I would start now.
But this is.
There's a little bit of a delay. So what happens is you go off of this.
Okay, everyone, we are, as you can tell, this is our very first live stream, and we are working on just a couple little things right here. So hello, hello, hello. So just give me 2 seconds. Let's work on this. And we are going to have the most amazing hour. All right, so we're going to be together for the next hour. And we are going to talk about all sorts of really cool things. Now, it is me. That arm belonged to Robert. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Linda. Robert graciously has set me up with this really cool kind of like streaming set. So I got my monitor, I got my laptop, I got my phone, I have a microphone, I have Indy sitting right behind me chewing on a bone. So if you hear any weird kind of noise, that is her. But I'm super excited. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to be spending, again, the next hour together, and we are going to be talking about all sorts of cool stuff. First of all, it's the first day of May. Oh my gosh, I remember as a kid, every time my grandma would say, "Oh my gosh, can you believe it's already the middle of the year?" I would be like, "Oh my gosh, grandma, you know what? Only grandmas say those kind of things." And I am just like, find myself saying the exact same thing. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it is the 1st of May. But we got all sorts of exciting things happening in May. So I have my little calendar right here. And a couple of things that are happening in May is we have Mother's Day coming up, which this is going to be a subject that we're going to talk a little bit more about as we get closer to Mother's Day. Because hello, Anne, hello, Kelly, hello to everyone. So, but as we get closer to Mother's Day, I'm going to kind of dive into it a little bit more. One, I'm going to talk about like maybe some cool things you can do for your mom that don't cost a whole lot of money, because like a lot of other holidays, it seems like it's all revolved around money. It's like, what are you going to buy your mom? What are you going to get your mom? And sometimes as a mom, you just want maybe just to spend a little bit more time with your child. But we'll talk about that later on in the month. So we have Mother's Day coming up on the 18th of May. That would have been my sister's birthday. And my sister passed away, back in 2006. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the month, but we have that coming up. At the end of the month, we have Memorial Day, which is going to be a holiday. And you know what? I like holidays. I love 3-day weekends. So we're going to be having that. Now, if you're in the UK, if you are in the United Kingdom, today is early May bank holiday, which I have no idea what that is, but it sounds super fun. Like, you know, if the bank is closing early, you get the rest of the day off. And then on the 22nd for Canada, it's Victoria Day, which I think sounds very, very cool. So we have some other holidays coming up outside of the United States. But like I said, it is the May 1st. It's a Monday. It was a great weekend. I know I've mentioned this before, but I will update you all again. But my youngest son, Brandon, moved back to the house, which I'm super excited about. It's really nice having him back. And with him came his little 7-pound cat named Pam. And in the beginning, I was a little worried about how Pam and Indy would get along. Now, if you don't know who Indy is my 80-pound pit bull puppy who just turned a year, and I had no idea how she was going to be with the cat. I never thought she was going to be aggressive, but I just didn't know if she was going to try to play too rough or something like that. But the update on Pam and Indy is they're getting along great. Pam, makes Indy mine. She'll swipe her every once in a while. Everything looking good? Okay, my arm is coming back. All right, Robert's check in really quick, which I appreciate immensely. And he's checking to make sure the stream is all good. And so far, he's reading, and we get from my producer. Are we getting a thumbs up? Come show him your thumb. Go like this. Oh, he just gave. Hold on. We're getting the producer thumbs up. Yay! So, anyway, this weekend was great, and what we found out. Oh, wow. So Linda says it's originally a pagan festival, May Day or Valentine Festival. Oh, okay. So the early May bank holiday is actually May Day. Makes sense. So, okay, this weekend. Hi, Robert, and thank you. Yes, he ran back to go do his own stream, but he has made this all possible. But this weekend, we had an unexpected visitor, and that visitor was a very large raccoon. And I know that they live around here. I've seen evidence of them before. You know, every once in a while you see them. The arm of the producer, yes, that was a very lovely arm. But every once we see a raccoon run across the street, and you're like, wow, you know what? There's wildlife that lives here. But this raccoon was extremely large and apparently thought that my backyard was its backyard, like my casa es tu casa kind of thing. And so I'm sitting at my counter, and all of a sudden I look up, and there's this huge raccoon is like walking along the fence. And I'm like, that's not good, because I know raccoons can be kind of aggressive. But I see all these TikToks, and all these people have these pet raccoons, and they look so cute. So I'm torn. I'm like, big wild animal, but they're so snuggly. So anyway, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just saw a huge raccoon. So of course I have to call Robert and Brandon to make a look at it so that they can verify that, yes, this is actually a raccoon. And good morning, Karina. Hello, good morning. So I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this giant raccoon. And the thing would not leave my yard. It would like walk across the fence. It would go up a tree, down a tree, through the yard. Now, again, I have an 80-pound pit bull, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to keep Indy away from this raccoon because I don't want them to get into a fight. Because Liberty, my old pit bull, actually fought a raccoon one time, and she did not win. So I'm like all worried, and I'm like, okay, so finally the raccoon apparently leaves. It's still out there. I just don't know where. But I'm like, okay, Indy, let's go outside and go to the bathroom now. And Indy's like, I am not going out there. There is a small bear in the backyard, and the backyard is off limit. So for the last 2 days, Indy has refused to go outside. She's like, it's too scary. I can smell what's out there. So now I'm of a dilemma. I mean, I have this raccoon, and I've known it's out there, but I just didn't realize it was taking possession of my yard. And poor Indy's like, well, I guess, the outside used to be fun. So I'm kind of at a dilemma, and I'm just like, oh, Indy, what are you going to do? So I've gotten her to the point where she'll go outside, and I named my raccoon because I am a huge fan of Bob's Burgers, and Linda always names the raccoons. I mean, I wrote it down. So Linda's raccoons, one is called Little King Trash Mouth, and the other one is called Big Baby Pudding Snatcher. So I'm like, yes, Valerie, it's the squirrel thing all over again, except the squirrel is like this big now. And so I'm like, okay, so apparently I have a raccoon in my backyard. And I decided to name my raccoon, my raccoon's name is Princess Dirty Pumpkin Spice. And she is the meanest spice girl of them all. So my raccoon's name is so it's Princess Dirty Pumpkin Spice. And I have to figure out what I'm going to do with her. I mean, if she comes back and she keeps Indy out of her yard, I mean, what do I do? I mean, I can't sit there and go outside and reason with the raccoon like, you know what, Princess? This isn't really working out for me, so can you go live somewhere else? So then I'm like, well, do I call the authorities? And I'm like, no, I don't want to send my raccoon to jail. So I have to figure out how I can incorporate my coexisting living quarters with Indy, the raccoon, and now we have Pam in the house. So poor Indy went from being the only spoiled child to like having threats in the backyard. She has gotten swatted across the nose twice now by Pam. And she's just like, Mom, she is not very nice. And I'm like, well, Indy, you're like 100 times bigger than she is. So you have to play nice with her. So Indy is just fit to be tied because, like I said, she went from an only child to having an unfriendly raccoon in the backyard and a mean little cat in the house. But she is settling in nicely, and I could not be more proud of her because she's very obedient. When we tell her to leave the cat alone, she'll just be like, "Oh, okay, you know what? I'm good with that." So all in all. Linda, I'm gonna have to get Indy, like, I don't know, maybe I can take her to like dog therapy and they can like try to like convince her that that Pam isn't bad. And so long as the raccoon, I can't physically see the raccoon, I try to encourage her to go outside. But in truthfulness, she can smell the raccoon. She will follow the raccoon everywhere where she went. And the raccoon jumped into my grass, walked across my porch, and then went up into the fence again. And its paw prints were like the size of Indy's. So, yeah, Princess Dirty Pumpkin Spice and I are going to have a talk. So that was the highlight of the weekend. And then, which kind of brings me to the subject that I want to talk about. And it has nothing to do with raccoons and it has nothing to do with Pam or anything like that. But what it does have to do with is, since I'm starting this whole venture, hello, Bevo. Welcome to my YouTube. Y'all, Bevo is an amazing young man. I've known him for years and I absolutely love him. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so since I've been starting this new venture, and this is super exciting, and this is something that I have wanted to do for, gosh, so many years. So many years I wanted to have like some sort of morning communication with the world, with my platform. And I've always been inspired by Drew Barrymore. I think she is amazing. She's had such a journey. You know, she's had good times, she's had bad times. And I have been waiting for, this little fuzzy thing is driving me crazy, but I have been waiting for Drew Barrymore to call me and be like, hey, Lonni, you know what? Loved your content. Come to my show. Let's sit down. Let's talk. And I was like, yes, Drew, I will get on the next plane and I'll drive out or fly out there. We'll sit down. We'll have this great conversation and I can tell the world everything that I want to tell the world. Well, she has not called yet. And I was like, okay, that's okay. You know what, Drew? I know you got to do your thing. You got your busy life. But that doesn't mean that I can't still do what I have been wanting to do. So here is the birth of my morning live stream and everything that I have been wanting to do, but I haven't been doing. So I have put a lot of time and effort and thought into how I was going to present this on a daily basis, because I want it to be just as inspirational and fun and entertaining to you as it is to me. So I have come up with, certain guidelines and everything I want to do. And then I was sitting there and I was thinking the other day, because my mind always goes like a million miles an hour whenever I'm getting ready. And I come up with all these great plans. And one of my plans is that after every live stream, I was going to do a short, a reel, a TikTok. And I was going to be like, hey, this is what I talked about on my Gray Hair Can Do this morning. It was great. Be sure to watch the replay. Join me tomorrow. And I thought that was a really good kind of like thing to do. And then in the back of my mind, in the back of this little mind, I was like, yeah, but you're not going to do it, right? And I was like, wow, that was really mean. That was kind of harsh. What do you mean I'm not going to do it? And they're like, yeah, you know what? You're going to say you want to do it, but you already know the reality is that you're not going to do that. And I stopped and I'm like, holy guacamole. You're right, brain. I probably am not going to do that. I am going to talk myself out of doing exactly what I just told myself I need to do to help make what I want to do successful. And it really got me to thinking. And this is the subject of this week's podcast. And if you don't know, Robert and I have a weekly podcast where we sit down and we talk about life. One week, he'll bring a subject to the podcast, and the next week, I'll bring a subject to the podcast. So it was my week, and I decided to do the whole podcast on the subject of how to stop stopping yourself. How to stop yourself from stopping what you want to do. And in my research and what I found out, which was actually kind of like eye-opening to me, is the simple fact that when you do stop yourself like that, it's an emotional response. And I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it as like, this is like an emotional coping skill that I have, and I don't know why. And I'm like, not only is an emotional coping skill, but I have been doing it for so long that I didn't even realize what I was doing. So I'm like, this is really interesting, because for me personally, anytime that I need to stop something or anytime that I need to change a pattern, I have to see it and I have to acknowledge it. So I want to just read a couple of things to you that really were eye-opening to me. And probably the biggest one is, let me just read this to you. It says, the problem isn't so much that, okay, let me start again, because this is really profound and I want to say it in one take. But it says, the problem isn't so much that you are currently doing things you don't want to do, but you're not doing things what you want most to do. And I was like, wow, you know what? That's true. The things that I stop myself from doing are not the tasks that I don't want to do. I'm stopping myself from doing the tasks that I want to do most of all. And I was like, wow, I never looked at it like that. So then I'm like, okay, this is on to something. Something in the back of my mind is like, yeah, Lonni, you know what? This is a problem that you have. And I'm sure it's a problem that a lot more people have than myself. And it also says, why do I avoid doing things I want to do most? Well, it's an emotional, it says that it is a core procrastination is an emotional focused coping strategy. So as soon as I read that it was an emotional coping strategy, I knew exactly where that was coming from. And it was coming from my past trauma. It was coming from my childhood trauma. I grew up, and I love my parents dearly. My parents are deceased, and I have learned many, many, many years ago to understand why what happened. I mean, I grew up in a very traumatic, hostile environment. It's just the way it was. You know, that was my childhood. And it was during that emotionally turbulent time that I found that as a child, when I would do something like a project or something like that, I didn't get any sort of like, wow, good job. You know, I didn't get any sort of encouragement to do it. I was basically on my own. So a lot of my childhood was like hope-based, like, okay, I'm going to do this project or I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a positive outcome. And then that positive outcome is going to lead to positive reinforcement. So I would start where a lot of times we start a project and we end there. So I would start, and then, you know what, I wouldn't get that accolade. And hello, Courtney. Courtney is my moderator on TikTok, so she is watching my live stream as we talk. So I would find myself as a child like, okay, I'm going to do this project. And then I would do it, and then I would not get any sort of positive reinforcement. So I would get disappointed. So I went from hope and hoping something good to not getting it. So I learned throughout my life that if you do something new, it's going to turn into something painful. Do you get where I'm going? Do you see the correlation at all? It's like, so in my mind, I have these projects and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then I stop because deep rooted in the back of my head is my little inner voice going, but if you do it, you're just going to be disappointed. So then I stop myself from doing it. And I did not realize again what I was doing until I realized what I was doing. And then I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know what? For me, once I acknowledge it, for once I actually am like, yes, that is what is happening. This is the core root of why this is happening. I can stop myself from doing it. So for example, after today's live stream, I am going to do a little promo reel and I am burning up. Okay, the joys of being 58 is every once in a while your body's like, flame on. And that is exactly what happened. And I was trying so hard to talk through my hot flash. And I was like, no, Lonni, you can do it. You can just pretend like your body temperature isn't 128 degrees. And I almost made it until just right there. And I'm like, no, you're going to faint. If you do not take that sweater off, you're just going to hit the floor. And then the stream would have been like the entire internet being like, is she okay? Can anybody see her down there? So again, the joys of being 58. But what I told myself today is that after my live stream, I am going to do exactly what it is that I told myself I wanted to do. And instead of realizing or instead of thinking that I was going to have some sort of negative response to it or some sort of kind of like hurt, I can be proud of myself. I can be proud of myself for doing what I want to do. And one of the steps, and what I'll do is I have an article that I referenced. I don't have it linked in my description yet, but I'll link the description down below. So if you want to take a look at the full article, I think it's a great article. It gave me a lot of learning points that I can go off of and kind of grow from. But I am no longer going to, hot flashes are the worst. But I am no longer going to associate starting new things and new projects with disappointment. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to force myself and I am going to relearn that sort of pattern because I want to. And here's the thing. Hello, AJ Ward. Here's the thing. It's like every child has things that they need to relearn. Every parent teaches as a parent, I taught my kids all sorts of things they need to relearn. We just have to relearn a whole lot. And I'm 58 years old, and I keep saying that, but I am. And I say it because I want you all to know that it's never too late to start new patterns. It's never too late to be like, you know what? I had these kind of results and I had these kind of thoughts and feelings, but I no longer have to have them. I have the power now that I can make new patterns. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And that is what I wanted to share with you. So again, I will link the description down below if you want to check out that article. Also, too, if you want to hear the whole podcast, I have both links on iTunes and Spotify. I do have those in the description. And we do record the podcasts. So later on today, I'm going to be putting that up on YouTube also. So if you want to hear the whole episode and you want to get like the whole gist of what I was just talking about, that will be up later on YouTube. But that is what I really wanted to do because again, oh my gosh, just doing this is like my dream come true. And I really have to very conscientiously stop myself from stopping myself. And I'm going to have y'all keep me accountable. And that was one of the ways to do it is to have accountability partners. And so what better partner to have as an accountability partner than all of you? So, you know, if you see me slacking, by all means, be like, yeah, you know what? You said you were going to do this and I don't see it. So be accountable. Now, on a kind of an off thing, I do want to share one more thing with you. I have these little, it's called a hero's journey. It's a dream oracle. And I don't want to be like all like, like any sort of tarot reading or anything like that. But I do have these cool little cards that every once in a while I'll pull a card. And it kind of gives me a little thing of what to think about. And it's this really pretty picture of just kind of a really pretty picture. And there's Indy. There's Indy right there. And this card says, discover your superpower, access 100% of your mojo. And along with what I just told you, I do want to read this really quick and then we're going to move on. It says, you are infinitely powerful, wise, strong, and blessed. Yet you've only taken conscious ownership of about 5% of your natural inheritance. Without realizing it, most of your power has been regulated to your shadow cave. As a kid, you may have been shunned, teased, ostracized, or spanked or demonstrating certain behaviors or feelings. Consequently, you labeled those characteristics bad and deleted them from your playlist. But nothing is ever truly deleted. It is disowned for a while and regulated to a cloud or cave. Eventually, those characteristics will break into dreams or enter your waking life in inappropriate or inopportune moments. At its core, every shadow is beautiful and useful. In fact, within your biggest, scariest shadow is your superpower in disguise. When anything that has been cut off escapes from your shadow cave, as I spit all over my book, I don't know if y'all saw that, but if you didn't, I pointed it out because that's just what I do. Instead of trying to outrun or quicken your transformation by standing still, so hold on here. I told y'all I spit, and then I have to, get back to this. It says, when anything that has been cut off or escapes from your shadow cave, it will lunge forward with fangs if given the chance. Instead of trying to outrun it, quicken your transformation by standing still and exploring what is worthy and noble about these aspects of yourself. If you can't do this on your own, invite an ally to hold your hand as you discover the beauty and usefulness of your shadow. Hello, my friends. I am inviting you as I explore this journey. And it says, as you do this, you will find your shadow is no longer a shadow, but mojo that you can now empower on your quest. Wow. Who would have thought I would have pulled this card this morning? It just literally goes with everything I just said. If this does not correlate with what I just said, just the whole, when it was talking about how your power was regulated to your shadow cave, because as a kid you were shunned. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep hitting the microphone, but I'm getting like all animated. When it says, as a kid, you may have been shunned, teased, ostracized, or spanked for demonstrating certain behaviors. You know what? I was teased very heavily as a child. I had extremely hairy arms. That's just the way it was. That's the way my little body grew. I was very fluffy. And people used to call me horrible names, and they would tease me just relentlessly. And you know what? And when you start to get teased like that, you start to like hide within your, you start to hide. And then, my parents, I would go home and there was really no kind of like help there. So I can see how you would start to kind of like hide those things that make us ourselves. And we'll talk more and more and more about this. But, when I turned 50 and I got sober and I was just like, wow, here I am. I finally can just be like, here world, here I am in my infinite being. I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. This is me. And I have never looked back and I have never been quiet. Does that mean that my journey is done evolving? No, not at all. I'm still finding aspects of myself that amaze me. And I know that there's still learning that I need to do. So that's all we're going to talk about that. I just think that this is amazing. And I'll do this. I don't know if I'm going to do it every single day, but whenever I pull a card like that, I will definitely share it with you. So we are moving on. And what we're going to be talking about now is what is trending on YouTube. And it's not necessarily like what video is trending, but what subject is trending. And right now, one of the top searches on YouTube is the Virginia Beach tornadoes, which I am horrible geographically. I'm going to tell you right now, I am like, okay. Just so we can be completely transparent and just so you know what you are, and sobriety is absolutely a superpower. It is my biggest superpower. But let me just reenact something from this morning, okay? Because I wanted to like have these subjects for you, and I'm like, okay, Virginia Beach tornadoes. What state is Virginia Beach in? I kid you not. I did one of those moments. I did one of those moments where I had to actually try to figure out where Virginia Beach was because you know what? In my mind, I was like, I wonder what state. So again, complete transparency. If you ever do that, don't feel bad. We all do it. So anyway, there was a tornado there, and it's just kind of the weather is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, it is cold and rainy here in Southern California. It's May 1st. I should be wearing shorts, which, by the way, I'm wearing this year. But it's like the weather is kind of a little wacky these days, and I'm a complete weather nerd. So I will be talking about weather a lot. It's just something that my dad was a farmer. And weather was really important to him. And that's one of the things that we shared was the love for weather. So I'm always like, this is so cool talking about weather. I mean, we even had a tornado in LA and that rarely happens. So I am not going to go into the whole, death, doom, and destruction, but the weather is weird. But weather is always weird. I mean, Mother Nature, there is just no rhyme or reason to Mother Nature. She's going to do what she wants to do. So then another thing that was trending is there's a judge from the Master Chef Australia. His name was Jock Zonfrillo, and unfortunately he passed away, which is very kind of sad. And, I don't like to see things like that, but, life and death is a definite part of life. And then the Met Gala is tonight. And to me, the Met Gala has always been a little bit of kind of a mystery. And when I say that, I mean, I know what it is. It's an event where really pretty people dress up in really different outfits and they go to an event. To me, that's what the Met Gala is. And tonight is that event. And the theme for tonight, and this is why it's kind of trending, I believe, is that the theme of this year's Met Gala is Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty. So he's a designer and a very controversial one because of the things that he was saying. And in today's world, I'm telling you right now, it's like if you say it, it's going to stick around forever. And I personally am not going to go super deep on this subject, but I'm going to say just be nice. Love each other for who we are, and we can just be nice. It doesn't take any extra energy. We just need to be nice. And another thing that is trending right now is I guess they took the movie Fatal Attraction and they turned it into a series. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to give you a little insider on Lonni. I have never seen the movie. This movie is super famous. I know that it has Glenn Close in it and Michael Douglas, and it's about some people who have an affair, and she goes off the deep end. I don't know. I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but it's been out for like 30 years, and she like cooks a bunny or something. But I've never seen the movie. And I am to the point where I'm like, I think it's too late. I mean, I think if I saw the movie now, I would be like, so what's the big deal about? I don't know. And so I'm just like, this is like, they're making a remake of it, and they're making it into a series which, I don't know how I feel about that. But what I'm wondering is that a series that you think you would watch? I mean, if you've seen the movie, would you watch the series? Because it seems like they make remakes of everything these days. Um, so Courtney says, I have to watch Fatal Attraction. So I will make a pledge right now. By Friday's episode, I will have watched Fatal Attraction. And I will let you know what I think of it. And there's not a whole it's spawned the saying bunny boiler. Yeah, you know what, I can see that. And you know what, and it's just like, for me, it's like I know it's not a real bunny, but it's just like, don't hurt the bunnies. So that is what's trending and popular on YouTube searches now. So now we're going to look and see what's trending on TikTok, because TikTok is a completely different animal than YouTube, but equally as interesting. And one of the top trends on TikTok right now is Drema. You've never seen it either? Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm going to watch it by Friday. And if you can, you watch it by Friday. And then on Friday's episode, we will compare notes and see what we think about it. So what's trending on TikTok? One of the major things that is trending on TikTok right now, and by the way, TikTok, I am going to stay away from any of the cancel culture drama. I am not going to do that. I am not going to partake in that. And just for the simple fact that I think that I'm just not going to do it. Mm-mm. So, and I'm talking to TikTok right here, by the way. So one of the things that is really popular right now is scrap cooking. Basically, it's kind of like a zero waste kind of idea, where you take leftovers or you put things together that you normally wouldn't put together, and you can make a meal out of it, which I think is amazing, because we have, and especially in America, we have such a waste culture of, if it's not perfection, we don't eat it. And that kind of goes with the whole philosophy of just life in general. I mean, we want everything to be perfect. We want our skin to be perfect. We want our hair to be perfect, our makeup, our body, just everything has to be perfect, including our food. And yes, I mean, I don't want to eat food that is bad, but if it's not beautiful, it's not going to stop me from eating it either. So that's, I think, a really cool kind of trending thing, because I know that I love watching a TikToker, by the way. He's a really cool guy. It's like, his tag name is Chef Reacts or Chef Reactions, something like that. And he like duets and stitches other people doing their cooking TikToks. And what happens is that sometimes people want to be viral so bad, they go into extremes of like mixing their macaroni and cheese in the kitchen sink and then eating it out of there, or just putting like chocolate on their steak. Just really weird things to get just like that cringe factor. And the only thing that I can think of whenever I'm seeing TikToks like that is like, you're wasting food. The only thing you are doing is wasting food. And it really bothers me. So when I saw that this trend was on here about eating scraps, it made me happy. Another thing that is trending on TikTok right now is the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel dance. And kudos to every single one of you who can do that dance. This is me on that dance. That's all I can do. It is the coolest dance, and I just don't get tired of watching it. I think it is fun. And I've been on TikTok now going on 3 years, almost 4 years, and it brings me back to the original TikTok where there was dance challenges, and it makes me happy. And it makes me happy seeing people recreating this dance. Now, another thing that is really popular and that I see a lot on TikTok, it's slugging. And it's not like you walk up and you slug somebody in the arm, but it's slugging for your face. And I, for the longest time, was like, no, it's just a fad. It's just this, it's just that. And I have since decided to be like, I'm going to try that. And I did try it, and I actually really like it. And so we're going to talk about slugging. And what slugging is it's basically where the last step of your nighttime routine is you're going to be putting on a really heavy product like Vaseline on your face. And when I first saw this, I was like, who in the heck is going to put Vaseline on their face? That is ridiculous. And it kind of reminded me of like that cooking thing, where people are just doing it to get like that shock value. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. It's Vaseline. And so, but I saw it and I saw it and I saw it. And so finally I'm like, okay, Lonni, just do it. And I did it and I love it. I absolutely am addicted to this. So I'm going to tell you really quick, and I have it linked down below if you want to. Courtney, you just learned about slugging also? Okay. Yeah, no, I was just like, this is really cool. And you know what? And I'm all shiny. But my nighttime routine is multi-stepped, and I'm going to go over it with you right now. So the first thing I have done is I have found this product. This is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Makeup Melting Cleansing Balm. Love, 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 love. And what this is this is what takes off your makeup. And when I first started using cleansing balm, I thought this was the cleanser because it says right there cleansing. And I'm like, if it says cleansing, it's got to clean your face. That is not true. That is not what it does. It takes your makeup off. So you get your little scooper, which I'm really impressed that for the price that it came with a scooper. And you take a little scoop out, you put it in your hands, and then you warm it up and you put it all over your face. I have tried True Botanicals Cleansing Balm. I like that. It's $50. I have tried Neutrogenea's Cleansing Balm. I do not like it. I did not like the consistency, and I did not like the smell. And I'm sorry, Neutrogena, I don't think it removed your makeup very well. And then I got the e.l.f. one, and this one is very equal to the True Botanical one for $50. This one was like $11 and takes off your makeup amazing. So what you do is you put it in your hands, you put it on your face, and then it like turns your makeup, it turns everything that's on your face into like a white film. So it's like, it just turns white. And at that point, you want to use your cleanser, blah, blah, blah. You want to use your cleanser. So I made the mistake. Well, I know I'm making mistakes all the time, but I made the mistake. And before I used this cleanser, I had a vitamin C cleanser that I use in the morning in the shower. Simple. You put it on, it gives your face like a nice little fresh feel. Well, I'm like, I'm going to use that at night. And at night, I'm trying to get my eye makeup off. So I put the vitamin C on, rub, 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 scrub, rub, rub. And I was like, I got vitamin C in my eyes and it hurt. So I have switched to my little e.l.f. Holy Hydration Daily Cleanser. Again, e.l.f. I am absolutely in love with this product. It is vegan, it is animal cruelty free, and it is a good product. I like this daily one. So anyway, I take off my makeup, I wash my face, and then I put my little serum on. And I have been using these little Rock Nightly little serum, look how cute they are. They're just like, and when I first got this, they sent this to me. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? This is like a drop of serum. You know what? I have a big face. This is not going to cover my face. And so I'm like, whatever, I'll try it. So I cut it off, and this little thing of serum actually goes a long ways, and it goes all over my face and down my neck. So I put my serum in, I let it just sit there for a minute, and then, because when you get to be over 50, your eyes turn into like your major focus point, and you want to make sure you hydrate as much as you can around your eyes, because you just want that to stay hydrated and to get those fine lines and wrinkles under control. So I use the Holy Hydration eye cream. So I put my little eye cream on, and I have that there. Then we get to the slugging part. This is the part that I just had kind of like I don't know if I want to do this because it was just weird. And I'm really glad I did. So I take my Vaseline and I am not shy about it. I put it all over my forehead. I put it all on my cheeks, around my little gels right here, because this is the one part of my skin I think that I wouldn't say an issue with, but I notice the most. And then I've been putting it all down my neck. And the slugging, the whole idea of it is that you want to put enough product on that you look like you just got slimed by a slug. And it was like, when I did it, I'm all like, wow, this is really thick. What's it going to be like sleeping? Even though it doesn't have an odor, it kind of had I don't know. I was really worried that it was going to have the same kind of odor as the Neutrogena one, because when it doesn't have odors, sometimes it has a funky odor. So I put it on and I slept with it, and I woke up the next morning and my skin was so soft. And I'm like, maybe I'm onto something. So I've been doing it now. I've done this 3 nights in a row. So, I know that that's not scientifically I can say this is going to work. But I will tell you, for the last 3 nights, I have woken up and my skin has been softer than it's been in a long time. And so what I'm actually doing is since I already have the Vaseline on my hands, I'll go ahead and I'll get my lotion, and I'm starting to lotion up my arms every night. Now, I went to the gym this morning because I go to the gym every morning, and I wore shorts. And one of the things that I always see online is that women in their mature age, it does trap in the moisture. And I think it really just penetrates the skin and really moisturizes the skin. But a subject that I see women over 50 talk about a lot is crepey skin, not crappy skin, crepey skin. And I look down at my legs and I'm like, wow, my legs are not very subtle looking. They're not very smooth looking. And so I'm like, okay, Lonni, what are you going to do about that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start slugging my legs. I am going to start putting on a nice film of Vaseline on my legs at night after my face. And I want to see if I can get some softness back in the skin in my legs. And I don't see why I couldn't. Same theory. And sometimes when we are doing beauty and we're all like, I'm going to do this, we forget about everything going down. So I'm not only going to slug my face, I'm going to slug my body. And I am going to see, again, if I get any different results on my skin, on my arms and my legs, which I'm assuming I'm going to. Good thing that was not a glass one. That was plastic. But that's what I'm going to be doing. And now, how is it not going to get on all the sheets? You know what? Truthfully, by the time I don't put on so much I could slide across the floor on my face, but I do put enough on so that I can feel it. Now, if you want to put a whole lot on, if you just want to pack it on your face, what I would do, and I've seen this before, and please be really careful with this, but I've seen people take saran wrap and actually put it on their face. And before you put saran wrap on your face, know this, I'm telling you right now, you have to cut holes to breathe. Please do not put saran wrap on your face and not give yourself breathing portals. So would I recommend that? I don't know. I don't know if that's necessary. I've seen people put the Vaseline on, put the sheet on for 30 minutes, and then be like, that's enough. I would rather put less product on and sleep in it overnight than put it on a crazy amount and just leave it on for 30 minutes. But that's just me. So I am all about slugging the face, slugging the neck, going to be slugging the body, and I think that that's amazing. Another thing I want to tell you all about really quick, and then we're going to get to a comment, is the product that I want to tell you about today is, again, an e.l.f. product, and this is their glossy lip stain. And I have been struggling a lot lately with my lipstick. And when I say struggling, I find that the colors are turning. I'll put on a lipstick, and the next thing I know, I'll look in the mirror and they're orange. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a chemical in my body. I don't know if it's my age. I don't know what's going on, but I just know I haven't been happy with a whole lot of lip products I've been using. So I got this e.l.f. Glossy lip stain, and this is the first one that I've gotten that has not turned orange, and I absolutely love it. It's a lip stain, but it's not like one of those lip stains that I guess I shouldn't have done that while I'm live. But it's not one of those lip stains that are matted to where you put it on and the next thing you know, you try to talk and your lips are like cemented together. You're like, it's not one of those. Those drive me crazy also because I'm all about texture. I'm all about how things feel. And if I don't feel like it is cohesive or if it's not working with my body, I'm not going to wear it. I don't care how pretty it is. It just isn't going to happen. So let's get to a comment that I had that, it's never ceases to amaze me what people say. People say all sorts of things. Now, this isn't always going to be like a negative comment. Sometimes people have legitimate questions and I'll be answering those also. Sometimes people come out of left field with really weird really weird stuff, and I will respond to those also. But today's comment that I'm going to respond to it has to do with my tattoos. I did a short, a TikTok, a reel where I showed my tattoos. I'm like, I like my tattoos. I am mature and I like my tattoos. And her comment was, I want to see it and the others when you are in your 60s and 70s. I'm like, for one thing, what makes you think that I am going to be accountable to you? What makes you think that I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, it's my 60th birthday. I need to show her all my tattoos. That isn't going to happen. For another thing, again, I am 58 years old, turning 59 in August. Do you really think like on my 60th birthday, my tattoos are suddenly just going to go south? Do you think like when I get to be 60, it's going to be like, well, that was a good run. You know what? They look terrible now. No. It's just not going to happen like that. I mean, are my tattoos going to change with my skin? Absolutely. But I change with my skin. And the philosophy is this. And this is really, really, really what I want to just kind of like drive home. It's my tattoos are on my skin, on my body. All right. I love my tattoos for what they represent, for who I was when I got those tattoos and what I am today with those tattoos. Now, if my skin starts to sag or if my skin starts to get wrinkly or if my tattoos don't look exactly like they did when I got them when I was 30 years old, I don't care because my message hasn't changed. I haven't changed. And I don't have a tattoo on my body so I can walk through the store being like, look at my tattoos. Look at that. I don't do that. They're for me. They represent who I am. So if I turn 60 and I wake up and my tattoos go south, I'm still going to love them just as much that way as I do in my 50s, as I did in my 40s, as I did in my 30s. Again, just like food and just like everything else, we are a society where we feel like everything has to be perfect. And I am going to 100% tell you right now, I'm going to love my tattoos even if they are not perfect. I don't love them for their perfection. I love them for what they give me. Because I did not too long ago, I got that Derma Blend body makeup. And I put that on. For one thing, it was not as easy to put on as it looked. It took 4 coats and I could still see my tattoos under there. I made the mistake of wearing one of my favorite black tank tops, and I, for the life of me, cannot get that Derma Blend off my tank top. And I did not like who I was. Well, let me rephrase that. I fundamentally like myself with or without tattoos. I mean, it doesn't change who I am as a person, but aesthetically, what I look like, I was like, ugh. I just, my tattoos are part of who I am. And so the whole like the whole tattoos with age or the tattoos of regret. I just don't get it. I really don't. And I was looking back on my platform, and I have been such an advocate for tattoos since the very beginning. And one of the reasons that I do it is because my tattoos are so personal to me. They represent who I am. Like I said, my sister's birthday is coming up. Oop, wrong arm. My sister's birthday is coming up, and I have so many tattoos in honor of her because she was not able to be here with me, that I don't think it's right that anybody can judge somebody else by their journey. My tattoos have helped me heal. My tattoos have helped me get to where I am. And I just don't think it's right for anybody to judge me, because you know what? I don't judge them. I have never once been like, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me. You know what? If you had a tattoo, your outfit would look so much better. I don't do that. It's not in my wheelhouse. It's not something I want to do. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. I just want to encourage people to do whatever they want to do. I'm trying to cross my legs. Ooh, there you go. I was gonna say I just made more coffee. So that's it. That is basically my. Linda says, my tattoos have empowered me, so they are all good. Absolutely. And you know what? It's like I have some tattoos of, I'm trying to think, do I have any that I wouldn't have gotten? No, I think I would have gotten all of my tattoos over again. I like them all individually. So tomorrow, tomorrow I will be back at 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. again. I will have a whole different ideas and whole different subjects to talk about. Some of the subjects that I am going to be talking about, just to give you a little idea of what you can come back and watch, is I'm going to be diving in a little bit deeper conversation about hair. Do we hide behind hair? I mean, women get told all the time, if you're older, you shouldn't have long hair. I get told all the time that my hair is too short. So, I mean, where is that ground of like, thank you, Courtney. Where is that balance? I mean, at what point is our hair so monitored that we are told that we can't have long hair or short hair? Again, sometimes there's just not pleasing anybody. I did go shopping, and I did a YouTube of my H&M shopping adventure. So I have to show you what I bought. So I'm going to do a try on that, and I'll show you how I styled all the different things. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm just going to sign off. I'm going to do my promo reel, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to start writing for tomorrow. And no, this is it's called, what shade is this? Oh, Berry Queen. This is a berry, and I really like red lips, but sometimes the red turns a little orange. So I've been going for a darker berry. That was interesting. See you next time. Yes, Linda, I will see you tomorrow. Says, I love my tattoos and I'm 62 this year. Drilla, I am so excited, and I don't think we should stop getting tattoos. So, all right, everybody, that was today's Gray Hair Can Do. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry for keep hitting the microphone. If you don't notice, I talk with my hands a lot. I will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remember, be bright, be bold, be brave, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.